Hello everyone, this is Jasmine, aka Gladiatorinsweats, and I'm here with the collective tarot message for today, Tuesday, August the 7th, 2018. So happy Tuesday to everyone, and as always, hope everyone's doing alright and taking care of themselves, staying hydrated, all of that great and important stuff. So jumping into it, the galactic signature for today is the red crystal dragon. And so that signifies that we are in the 12th day of this 13-day wave spell. So we're rounding out the end of this white dog wave spell of us really defining and living, really creating our hearts, our truth, what is really valuable to us. When you think about this white dog energy of our heart, of what we love, of loyalty. So just getting even further into this red crystal dragon energy, I am reminded or what I'm thinking of is there's this crystallization and there's this love of our rawest and purest being and bringing us closer to this actualization of source as us, of us accepting and really acknowledging and feeling, crystallizing this feeling of source being as us, of us being God and God as us. Not just that, but there's this energy of trust, energy of trusting unconditionally and the source of divine nurturance, of us trusting in our natural being and nurturing ourselves as well as others. There is something that came to mind or really popped out of the oracle book that I'm reading out of when I'm reading about these energies, and it said stability is a matter of perception. And I thought that was really interesting, and I think that's also something that can be, I feel, symbolic for today also being the day that Uranus goes retrograde. So what I mean even further about this stability as a matter of perception, and I think we can think of this more in terms of mental stability and what we perceive as such, where we're being asked and tested to find where we can openly be ourselves, where we can openly flow and expand amidst the seemingly complexity of life, of everything that's going on. How we can be in our own sort of flow and flex amongst the grand flow and flex of all that is. And ultimately, that is where we find stability. And I think water, I know that people see, or not even people, ultimately our perception of like what's grounded and what's stable is earth. We think of earth, we think of rocks, we think of that sort of structural nature. But when you think of water, and I feel water is more of this transcendental, it is that transcendental state where it's able to flex and flow into many different states with ease, but it's natural, where it doesn't lose any part of itself in any part of the process. When water becomes ice, or even when it becomes snow or rain or whatever, clouds, when it becomes all of these different states of matter, it doesn't actually lose any of its essence, of its being. It's still its same being. And I feel that's even relative to not just this energy that we are picking up on now, where we're really learning to find our own flow, find our own individual state of water. If we're all water, like what is our own unique frequency? What is my own unique flavor of the Kool-Aid, if you will? So just breaking off to get into the tarot message for today, I did draw the Lovers with 6 of Wands. And then the message, as far as like the message that most needs to be received, I had the Moon with Death, and the way that it fell out, the Moon was covering Death ever so slightly. And then bottom of the deck, a Temperance. So just getting into it, with this Lovers and Six of Wands, the first thing that came to mind was like this focused tunnel vision towards what we love, towards what we desire. When I think of the Six of Wands, of us really still being in the mix of going after what we desire, but there's this flame, there's still this embroiled passion. Even when I look at this Lovers card, I feel embroiled passion. I feel this confidence in what we love, confidence in going after what it is that we desire. Not just that, my eyes are brought to this like yin and yang symbol at the top. So maybe there's this integration of lower and higher energies of our mind and our will, of higher and lower minds. Even with this Temperance card at the bottom, maybe further confirmation of that. But I'm also reminded that today, I believe, Venus trines Mars, which creates this very passionate synergy. When you think about Venus and Mars, both of these very, the very active and passive energies, when they're both in play, in love and desire. Both of these being in this air sign, though, in communication, but not just communication, but of like universal love, of universal connection, of universal network. And so I'm also feeling there's this maybe desire just to go out and to enjoy this beautiful actions is what comes to mind. Just beautiful actions, things that are beautiful in our minds, are graceful in our minds, in line with what we feel is just and in harmony in our hearts and in our higher desires. I feel it's also just making us maybe more sociable, wanting to go out to network, to create these heart connections, to maybe meet new people that are in alignment with our path, in alignment with what it is that we are desiring to create. But this could also just be representative here of this creative stimulation, this creative desire to create art, to create beauty, just to really live in our heart desire. Not just heart's desire, but the way that this cord is kind of coming down, and it doesn't really show where it's coming down to. So this could be really coming down to the solar plexus. That just came to my mind. So this could be, again, about us really plugging in to this higher source, this higher consciousness, this higher framework above duality, where it's more closer to source, where it's more closer, this more higher consciousness. So I feel it just all is talking about this magnetic attraction to higher love, but again, to what it is that we really desire, to what, like, my eye is drawn to this lion. So I feel a lot of this could even just be about this Leo energy that we've had taking place. But not just that, a lot of this sun imagery here, but even the way that is coming out over the horizon in the Death card. I feel like this is about really coming out of maybe very dark times, coming out of not just a darkness, but really just feeling more impassioned, feeling more in alignment. With this moon and the Death card, I feel like this could be speaking about I did actually want to speak a little bit more about this Lovers and the Six of Wands. Even just looking at the way that this is all coming from this like crown chakra energy in this Lovers card, I feel like there's like this lighting up of like our chakras, and I guess I keep referring to the chakra system because I feel like that's what people can most align with, and something they can visualize along with the description or with the reading. So again, just back to the reading with this crown chakra energy, and I feel like again it's lighting up our whole system. This whole energy kind of coming down our spine, coming down through our nervous system to our root, really inspiring this this passion, this heated desire towards our long-term vision. But again, as I wanted to go back to the moon and death card, this soul level transformation, this yin and yang balance, but this could even be just about a transcending of this sort of paradigm. Because the first thing that came to my mind was moon and Pisces when I looked at this moon card. So this could even just be in reference to the full moon that I believe we're going to have in Pisces coming up in a couple of weeks. But I feel this also just because we have this Temperance card, and with the Lovers, we have this like very mutable energy. But not just that, it's the Gemini and Sagittarius. And so I feel like this is us, we're having, where we were processing or really getting all these downloads or these intuitive insights or breakthroughs about things. Now, as we're integrating this, as we're fully sort of like processing these things, and even when I mean integrate, like we're actually starting to, I feel it's becoming more of a practice. It's more practical. It's becoming a part of our being, if you will. And so that's how I'm kind of seeing this Temperance, where the things that we have been coming into knowledge of and the things that we may have been learning about in theory, then we're going to begin to experience these things, or if we haven't already been experiencing these things. As this death card is, I feel, symbolizing this transformation, that it's taking time. And so, like I said, I feel like this is in reference, this moon card, to this full moon in Pisces, but it could also just be about this moon, this new moon cycle that we're starting coming up in the not a couple of days, but it's in about less than a week, if not a week, sometime like that. But regardless, I just feel like there's a change in frequency. The thing that came to my mind was maybe even just this change, this slow transformation that's taking place with the nodes, where the nodes are shifting into a new sign, into a whole new energy. But ultimately, I feel like this is about releasing and transforming after a period of like surrender, or a period of having to surrender our old ways of being, our old ways of getting power, if you will, of stabilizing our power, where we're just really seeking more externally, or maybe needing external validation in different sorts of ways, as I've been discussing, and really going internally, really coming to a self-acceptance, but also like a self-confidence, a self-love. And not just really about a love for self, but again, this goes back to this connection of realizing that we are God and God is us, and recognizing how we, as everything else around us and everyone else around us, is all divinely connected into this greater scheme that can, many of us are maybe even not aware of. So yeah, just, I guess, closing this out, I feel like there's just a coming out of the waters onto land after the storm, even here when I look at this lobster. And every time I see it, I kind of think about this coming out of water, but lobsters don't necessarily come out of water. So it kind of makes me more think that maybe this is just us being in this uncomfortable space, this uncomfortable time of us really having to shed these old ways of being, just old habits, old ways of, again, I feel like maybe looking outside of ourselves for validation or for some sort of power through like ego games or some sort of ego play, and really coming into a more re-energized, more in sync, more in harmony place of being, more confident, more just even more like just gleaming, even more shining, to where your essence can be seen, can be felt by others. People can feel your radiance. They can even maybe see your radiance. So yeah, I'm just close it there. So thank you so much for tuning in and checking out my daily tarot messages. I am putting out a Uranus retrograde video shortly after this, so stay tuned for that, or just check that out at any time. Check out any of the previous content and all the info in the description box. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday, and as always, with so much love, and wishing you guys many blessings. Until next time.